Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens Part 155 based on novel. So let's start. The last map fragment for the purifying demonic lotus flame has been obtained. Xiao Yan's face was filled with surprise. The purifying demonic lotus flame was a heavenly flame that he had always dreamed of. It was ranked third on the Heavenly Flame ranking, which proved just how strong it was. With Xiao Yan's current strength, he could rise to the peak of the Dozun class if he were to swallow and refine it. How can it be so easy? Yao Lao helplessly shook his head, pouring cold water over Xiao Yan. He said, "The purifying demonic lotus flame is an extremely mysterious heavenly flame. Even I have never personally seen it. It is already a great blessing that you have obtained 3 map fragments. However, it is not so easy to obtain the last map fragment." Then what is the good news that teacher has mentioned? Xiao Yan was startled before becoming slightly depressed. Even his voice had become a little weak. "We have not obtained the final map fragment, but we have come across news related to it." Yao Lao fondled his beard and softly laughed. "What news?" Xiao Yan's somewhat depressed mood was braced. He hurriedly inquired. "There is a special spatial trade fair held within the Central Plains every few years. An ordinary expert would not know about this spatial trade fair. Even some of the experts whose strength has reached the Dozone class would not be aware of it without a special channel." Yao Lao grinned and said, "This is because the first qualification to participate in this spatial trade fair is that one's strength must at least reach the peak of the Dozone class. In other words, most of those who can participate are the true top-tier experts of this continent. Spatial trade fair requires one to at least be at the peak of the Dozone class." Xiao Yan was involuntarily startled when he heard this information. After which, smacked his mouth. The entry qualification for this trade fair was indeed a little frightening. Peak of the Dozone class. Even top-tier factions would attempt to attract these people. However, these people barely had the qualification to participate. Moreover, this so-called spatial trade fair was something that Xiao Yan had never even heard of. It was likely because of the lack of a so-called channel. The last map fragment of the purifying demonic lotus flame will appear at this spatial trade fair? Xiao Yan asked while thinking things through. I have some friends within the people at the spatial trade fair. I have made an inquiry this time around and coincidentally heard this information. The owner of the last map fragment is also aware that this map is related to the purifying demonic lotus flame. However, he plans to use it to exchange for other things since he only possesses 1 fragment. Yao Lao said. Since he is aware that this map is related to a rare object like the purifying demonic lotus flame, it is likely that the price to exchange for it will be quite great. Xiao Yan voiced his thoughts. When he obtained the map fragments in the past, the people who had obtained them from were completely unaware of their meaning. Hence, Xiao Yan had gained a great advantage. This time around someone had recognized it, making it more troublesome to obtain it. However, there is no other choice. This is the only news that we have obtained that is related to the purifying demonic lotus flame. If we do not grab a hold of it, it is likely that we will never come across the purifying demonic lotus flame." Yao Lao said. "Forget it. No matter who that person is, since this thing has appeared, I must obtain it." Xiao Yan mused for a moment before gritting his teeth to speak. The purifying demonic lotus flame was something Xiao Yan had coveted ever since he had obtained the first ancient map of this heavenly flame. He had gathered the other ancient maps after much difficulty. How could he give up now that he was lacking 1 map fragment that revealed the location of the flame? Moreover, Xiao Yan would be able to fight against the Hall of Souls if he possessed the purifying demonic lotus flame. He could kill the whatever 9th Gentleman and other top characters with 1 slap. Yao Lao nodded. He immediately laughed. "However, I cannot quite remember some things because the spatial trade fair is conducted once every 10 years. Quite a number of mysterious treasures appeared, and it was even possible to find a Tien class Do skill. Qian Class Do skill. Xiao Yan's expression was a little stunned when he heard this information. His heart thought even more highly of this spatial trade fair. A Qian Class Do skill was usually something those super factions could possess. Moreover, most of them were treasures guarded by the sect. No one could easily take it out to exchange with others. One example was the great heaven creation palm that Xiao Yan had obtained. If he had not been lucky, he would not have obtained it. How much longer until the spatial trade fair begins? Xiao Yan frowned and asked. There's less than a year left. Yao Lao counted the time and replied. It won't be for a long time, huh? Xiao Yan knit his brows even more tightly. The current him could not help but wish to find the person who possessed the final ancient map. Regardless of what method he had to use, he needed to obtain that ancient map. Ha ha, there is no choice. If you anxiously require a heavenly flame, you can see if there has been news of any other heavenly flames or perhaps snatch it from those who have won. I wonder which faction on the continent, other than the Burning Flame Valley, possesses the most heavenly flames. Feng Zunja by the side joked. Xiao Yan bitterly smiled. How could it be so easy to find something like a heavenly flame? The faction with the most heavenly flames in this world is likely the Yang clan. Yao Lao smiled and suddenly informed them. Yang clan? Xiao Yan was startled when he heard this answer. What faction was this? Why had he never heard of it? It is one of the 8 ancient clans and one of the hidden factions. Its strength is far beyond your imagination. The Central Plains is not as simple as it seems on the surface. The so-called 1 hall 1 tower, 2 sects 3 valleys, 4 pavilions is merely a general form of address. Some true top factions are hidden even more deeply than the Gu clan. Yao Lao faintly explained. 8 ancient clans? Xiao Yan's heart pounded when he heard this term again. He hesitated for a moment before asking, just which clans are these 8 ancient clans? Yao Lao was quiet for a moment. Only then did he reply, the Gu clan and Hun, Sol, clan belong to the 8 ancient clans. Other than those 2 clans, there are still 5 other clans that still exist. They are the Yang clan, Yao clan, Shi clan, Lei clan, and Ling clan. Xiao Yan involuntarily inhaled a gentle breath of cold air when he heard these names that he had never heard before. This world did indeed exceed his expectations. Originally, he thought that the Hall of Souls was the strongest. It was unexpected that they were merely one of the so-called 8 ancient clans. It seems that there are only 7 clans? Xiao Yan was quiet for a moment before suddenly inquiring. Yao Lao stared at Xiao Yan. A moment later, he said, there is still one ancient clan that has been abandoned, the Xiao clan, which is your current Xiao family. Xiao Yan slowly exhaled a breath of air. It was as though he wanted to exhale the many distractions within his heart. He had never imagined that the Xiao clan, located in the corner and only surviving in a second-rate city within the Jiomar Empire, possessed a legendary origin that even he could not have imagined. Although Xiao Yan was not aware of how powerful this so-called Xiao clan was, it naturally possessed a monstrous strength in order to contend against a faction like the Han, Sol, clan and the Gu clan. However, the Xiao clan, which had been prominent once, had already been eliminated by merciless time. The Xiao clan had once produced a Dodi. Hence, the descendants of that line possessed the bloodline of a Dodi. However, this kind of bloodline only reached the generation of your ancestor Xiao Xian before being used by him, Yao Lao slowly explained. The bloodline of a Dodi might be powerful, but it does not last forever. There is a time when it will run out. To continue preserving the bloodline, another Dodi needs to appear and provide the bloodline with energy and life. Unfortunately, the Xiao clan has never groomed an elite Dodi ever since that Dodi of the Xiao clan. The strongest is merely your ancestor Xiao Xian. Similarly, his act of staking it all, putting in everything, was still not enough to rescue this declining clan. By now, the so-called Dodi bloodline of the Xiao clan has gone to waste. I have never sensed even the slightest Dodi bloodline in your body after so many years. Perhaps you should also be clearly aware of this. Xiao Yan quietly nodded. During these years of training, He had relied on himself during the critical life and death moment in order to break through. His Dodi bloodline was completely useless. Cuckoo, there is no need to feel any burden in your heart because you don't need the Dodi bloodline with your strength. Teacher believes that you will sooner or later rebirth the abandoned Dodi bloodline of the Xiao clan. Yao Lao patted Xiao Yan's shoulder and spoke with gentle eyes. Xiao Yan slightly smiled. What could the Dodi bloodline do? With his current achievement, he was not the least bit afraid even if he met the young experts from the ancient clans, who possessed the bloodline of a Dodi. The only gap between the two of them was just how much effort they put in, but everyone understood that the process was unimportant. The most important thing was the result. Nobody was concerned about whether one's training journey was smooth or bumpy. All people looked at was one's final achievement. Yao Lao nodded in a pleased manner when he saw Xiao Yan's expression. This disciple was the best choice regardless if it was in terms of talent or character. Although he had been immature, the current him had returned to his simple and less haughty state. This continent will sooner or later remember his name forever. Why does teacher understand these 8 ancient clans so well? Wouldn't an ordinary person find it difficult to learn such information, right? Xiao Yan's eyes suddenly landed on Yao Lao as he smiled and asked a pointed question. Cuckoo, cunning fellow, you have guessed something. Yao Lao was startled before he replied with a grin. Does teacher and that so-called Yao clan have any relation? Xiao Yan softly inquired. Yao Lao held a teacup in his hand. A faint smile appeared on his elderly face. However, this smile contained a sadness and a bitterness. I am indeed a member of the Yao clan. However, I belong to the type abandoned by the clan. Abandoned? Xiao Yan was startled as he faced Yao Lao in front of him. He only softly asked after a long while, with teacher's medicinal refining talent, hardly anyone across the current Dochi continent could compare with you. How could you be a person abandoned by the Yao clan? It is because of the Dodi bloodline. Yao Lao hinted at a smile. The emotions on his face slowly withdrew as he explained, being born within an ancient clan comes with a far greater pressure than other places. There, one's status is differentiated by the richness of one's bloodline. However, both of us are similar. The Dodi bloodline flowing within my body is so thin that it is insignificant. When I was in the Yao clan, I was eventually expelled due to the failure of a mission I was performing. I was dissatisfied after leaving and began to place all of my effort into pill refinement. I roamed the Central Plains alone, muddled along for nearly a century, and gained some achievements. Back then, I still bore the whimsical thought that the clan would once again summon me back. However, with the flow of time, this kind of hope gradually disappeared. Yao Lao softly continued, this clan might be the place that raised me, but I do not have much feelings for them. My parents had died when I was young. Subsequently, I gradually forgot about them and did not even remember them. Moreover, only some members of the Yao clan are aware that I was once a member of that clan. Even the Hall of Souls is unaware. Xiao Yan was quiet. It seemed that Yao Lao felt rejected by the Yao clan. Otherwise, he would not fail to mention a sliver about it after so many years. With teacher's current strength, no one would be able to stop you if you wished to return to the Yao clan, right? Xiao Yan asked. Is there any meaning to returning to that kind of place? During these years, I have only been aware that I am Yao Chen. However, this Yao is not the Yao of the Yao clan. Since they think that the old me is a useless person, the old me shall show them how well I am doing within the Central Plains and that people without the Dodi bloodline can truly become a top expert. Yao Lao smiled when he spoke. He turned to Xiao Yan and said, moreover, the old me will show them that even the disciple that the old me has recruited will far exceed the people who possess a Dodi bloodline, which they so treasure. Xiao Yan nodded. His heart felt an additional dislike for this so-called Yao clan. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. There is hardly anyone within this Central Plains region who are aware of these 8 ancient clans. However, you currently possess the qualification to know about them. This is the reason why I am telling you this now. Yao Lao was also unwilling to continue being entangled with this topic for long. He immediately waved his hands as he explained his reasoning. As for the faction with the most heavenly flames that I mentioned earlier, it should be the Yang clan, which is one of the 8 ancient clans. Yao Lao mused for a moment before speaking. Based on what I know, the Yang clan should be in possession of 4 types of heavenly flames. Among them, there are 2 heavenly flames in the top 10. 4 types of heavenly flames? Xiao Yan was startled when he heard this. This was the first time that he had heard of a faction possessing such a number of heavenly flames. Other than the Yang clan, the Yao clan also possesses 2 types of heavenly flames. They specialize in ancient medicinal refinement. There are quite a number of experts within the clan. It is likely that you will get a chance to meet them in the future. At that time, you will be aware of their specialty. Of course, there is no need for you to be afraid of them. With your current medicinal refinement skills, the number of people among the younger generation of the Yao clan who could beat you can be counted with one hand. Yao Lao smiled as he spoke. Countable with one hand. Xiao Yan frowned upon hearing these words. If there were no unique circumstances, he likely had the best medicinal pill refinement skill among the younger generation in the Central Plains. However, this ability was only ranked behind the top 5 within the Yao clan. This ranking caused him to feel a little dissatisfied. Of course, you should forget about placing your intentions on these heavenly flames because the 2 great clans have already added an inherited seal that is stronger than that of the Burning Flame Valley's 9 Dragon Lightning Flames during their countless years of inheritance. You will not be able to refine and swallow them even if you do obtain them. Yao Lao grinned as he continued to speak. Xiao Yang nodded with a bitter smile. He also did not possess such thoughts. In order for the Yao clan and the Yang clan to survive until now, their strength was not weak. He currently did not possess much courage to place his intention on them. After all, just 1 Hall of Souls had already left him in a battered shape. It was not wise to add more powerful opponents now. It looks like I can only quietly wait for the so-called spatial trade fair to begin, Xiao Yan hopelessly lamented. Yao Lao smiled and said, the spatial trade fair will require one to wait. However, you still have to make a trip somewhere before then. Where? Xiao Yan asked in surprise. GU clan, GU realm. Yao Lao softly replied. Xiao Yan's hand suddenly trembled when he heard these names. An extremely beautiful face that could bring disaster to cities and countries along with an elegant lotus-like demeanor slowly surfaced in his mind. No matter what the case was, it would not disappear. Zun'er. Xiao Yan inhaled a deep breath of air. A fiery heat suddenly surged into his dark black eyes. That little girl had always caused him to worry since the beginning. In another month's time, the adult ceremony of the GU clan will be held. It is held once every 2 decades. This is a great event within the GU clan because those who are qualified to participate in this adult ceremony are all the most outstanding members of the younger generation within the GU clan. There are not many factions that can receive an invitation from the GU clan. If I had not advanced to the Banshin class this time around, it is likely that the Falling Star Pavilion would not have received this qualification. Yao Lao took a black jade invitation from his storage ring. There were many mysterious lines outlining it. It gave one a mysterious feeling. This is the invitation. Only by possessing it will one be able to enter the GU realm. Originally, the old me should be the one heading there this time around. However, you should also be aware of the situation that the current Falling Star Pavilion faces. Although quite a number of old fellows on the continent have joined the Falling Star Pavilion recently, the thing that truly causes the Hall of Soul to be afraid of doing anything funny is this Bansheng strength of mine. Hence, I am unable to personally accept the invitation of the GU clan this time around. This task can only be left to you, Yao Lao beamed. He handed the black jade invitation to Xiao Yan as he gave a valid reason. Xiao Yan stared intently at the black jade invitation. A moment later, he finally extended his hand and received it. The GU clan was a powerful clan that had a connection with the Xiao clan. He was finally about to make direct contact with them, huh? A faint warmth spread when the black jade invitation entered Xiao Yan's hand. It also caused his heart to gradually recover. Those who have been invited by the GU clan are powerful factions and peak-level experts on the continent. This is also an experience for you. Of course, with your current strength and reputation, you have reached the level where you are on even terms. Yao Lao smiled as he asked. So? Do you have the courage to go? Teacher, you can rest assured. Xiao Yan gently tightened his hand over the jade invitation. He smiled and softly said, "This disciple will definitely not cause teacher to lose face." "Ha ha, I am not worried about this." Yao Lao loudly laughed. After which, he patted Xiao Yan's shoulders and continued, "You should leave after a couple of days. I am aware of the relationship between you and Sun Er. You should be more cautious when you reach the GU clan area. That girl is extremely outstanding within the GU clan. I am aware that she possesses the most complete Dodi bloodline within the GU clan in so many years. She has the greatest chance of breaking through to that legendary level. Hence, it is not easy if you wish to be with her." Xiao Yan quietly nodded. He had already vaguely sensed Sun Er's position within the GU clan a long time ago. However, her voice and smile were like carving blades that left deep impressions within Xiao Yan's soul. He was unable to remove them. In this world, there was no strength that could remove this imprint. Even the powerful GU clan could do nothing. "You should also bring Qin Huazunja and the little fairy doctor along when you head to the GU realm," Yao Lao said. After helping Qin Huazunja refine some medicinal pills, his strength has recovered to a 6-star dozun. I only helped the little fairy doctor refine a little of her woeful poison body. After which, I asked her to head to a place on her own. "What place?" Xiao Yan asked in a startled manner when he heard this. "An old tomb that an ordinary person is unaware of. She will be able to obtain the method to completely control the woeful poison body there. The poison pill method that I left behind was obtained from that place." Yao Lao fondled his beard, grinned, and replied. "Oh?" Xiao Yan was surprised. This poison pill method was not left behind by Yao Lao? Just what kind of mysterious person created such a wonderful method? Why does that person have such a great understanding of the woeful poison body? Xiao Yan asked in surprise. It is likely that there will not be a second person who understands the woeful poison body more than her, because she was also in possession of a woeful poison body when she was alive. However, she does not possess the good luck of the little fairy doctor. The method to control the poison body was also something that she had created when she was about to die, Yao Lao said. She actually also had the woeful poison body, no wonder. The little fairy doctor will obtain the method to completely control the woeful poison body at the place where that person rests. At that time, she will be the first person in history to truly control the woeful poison body. Yao Lao laughed as he said, "When the little fairy doctor returns, it will be time for you to head to the ancient realm." Xiao Yan slowly nodded. He curled his lips. His hand suddenly tightened on the jade invitation. "Sun Er, I said that the next time we meet will be at the GU clan. Therefore, wait for me." Xiao Yan remained within the Falling Star Pavilion while he waited for little fairy doctor to return. While he waited, Xiao Yan did not train his Do Qi. Instead, he had turned his attention to the training of his soul. The strength of one's spiritual strength was related to the tier of an alchemist. Ever since Xiao Yan's spirit had advanced to the soul state, he had not paid much attention to it due to needing to train his Do Qi. After all, as a tier 8 alchemist, those of the same generation within the Central Plains who could beat him were extremely rare, but after hearing Yao Lao's explanations, he understood that this little achievement was not something to be of proud. His current alchemist level could barely be squeezed into the top 5 of the younger generation within that mysterious Yao clan. This fact, which had been spoken from Yao Lao's mouth, left a great pressure on Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan understood that he would probably come into contact with the Yao clan in the future due to his relationship with Yao Lao. No matter what the case was, he couldn't let Yao Lao lose face. Hence, from the way he saw it now, a tier 8 alchemist was a little inadequate. When speaking about raising an alchemist's tier, it would undoubtedly mean raising one's spiritual strength state. However, the 4 great spiritual states were not things that one could advance to just because wanted to. Mortal, Soul, heavenly, Di. Xiao Yan was at the soul state within the four great spiritual states. However, there were very few people in the central planes who knew how to train one's soul. Among the people who Xiao Yan was acquainted with, the number of people whose spirit had surpassed the soul state and stepped into the heavenly state would not exceed one's fingers. The three giant heads of the Pill Tower possessed this ability. Yao Lao, who had currently advanced to the Banshan class, was also within this category. Even though this was the case, Xiao Yan was certain that they were still at the heavenly state. As for the extremely mysterious Di state, it was likely that this continent did not possess an alchemist at this level. My current alchemist tier should likely be at the peak of the initial tier 8 level. Xiao Yan revealed an expression of contemplation within the quiet room. Normally speaking, an alchemist who could refine a four-colored pill lightning medicinal pill could be considered to be at the peak of the initial tier 8 level. Although the pill lightning that Xiao Yan had attracted during the pill gathering had 5 colors, the final color had not been very pure. Hence, he only placed himself at the peak of the initial tier 8 level. Attracting an additional pill lightning color for a medicinal pill within the tier 8 level involved a great gap that was as far as the heavens and earth. Hence, some of the alchemist gurus who could attract a 5-colored pill lightning were at the intermediate tier 8 level. Only if one attracted 8-colored or more pill lightning could one be called a tier 8 advanced level alchemist. However, the people of this level were existences countable with one's fingers even within the Pill Tower. My spirit should belong to the initial soul state stage. In terms of spiritual strength alone, it is comparable to other intermediate soul state experts. Xiao Yan frowned. He had not trained his spirit much during this period of time. Thus, the progress of his spiritual strength had been quite slow. It seemed that he needed to fork over more time in the future. There must not be favoritism between Dodi and spiritual strength. After all, these two things were extremely important to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan clenched his hand when he thought of this. A scroll that was formed from ancient skin appeared in his hand. The skin of the scroll was a dark yellow. At a glance, one could tell that it had existed for a long time. Xiao Yan carefully pulled open the scroll. No characters appeared on it. Xiao Yan did not feel surprise upon seeing this. Spiritual strength spread from between his brows. After which, it slowly covered the scroll. Following the presence of Xiao Yan's spiritual strength, some invisible ripples quietly formed on the skin. Then, wave after wave of information poured into Xiao Yan's mind through his soul. Great single soul skill. The information flowed into Xiao Yan's head and immediately transformed into large mysterious characters that surfaced deep within his mind. After a careful examination, it was uncovered that this was a chi method to train one's soul. Of course, this soul training method was the prize that Xiao Yan had obtained as the champion of the pill gathering. Xiao Yan had studied it frequently after obtaining it, but he had not formally trained with it yet. He was about to travel to the GU realm, and there was no telling just what he would meet there. It was definitely not wrong to be a little better prepared. Yao Lao had also studied this so-called great single soul skill. His evaluation of it was not bad. After all, this thing was an object from the ancient times. Spiritual training during ancient times consisted of a number of aspects compared to the future generation of Qi methods. Hence, Xiao Yan did object to practicing this Qi method. Both his spiritual training method and this great single soul skill had their own advantages. Xiao Yan shut his eyes, and his mind sank into that mysterious soul training method. It was a long time later before he slowly opened them. This great single soul skill is full of unique aspects. No wonder it was the reward of the pill-gathering champion. The few lines of the word formula that I had obtained were shabby compared to this. Xiao Yan carefully studied this great single soul skill. He gradually touched something while training his spiritual strength. He was not a new person. The control over his soul was at a grandmaster level. The great single soul skill training formula might be vague, but it was not difficult for him to understand. After some thought, the areas that he had been lost in the past suddenly opened up. It was that insightful feeling after parting the dark clouds and seeing the bright moon. While Xiao Yan was feeling pleased, the spiritual strength that lingered between his brows slowly began to rotate. A numb feeling was vaguely emitted from between his brows. After which, Xiao Yan suddenly sensed an unusual suction force being emitted. The surrounding air rippled as bits of spiritual strength seeped out and poured into his brows. Upon sensing this change, Xiao Yan slowly inhaled a deep breath on top of feeling shocked. Was this the change that occurred after possessing a complete qi method? No wonder the alchemists from the ancient times were in their heyday. These ancient spiritual strength training methods were full of unique aspects. With this complete training method, my spiritual training in the future will finally enter the right track. If I was lucky enough, his spiritual state would be able to reach the intermediate soul state. At that time, refining a medicinal pill with more than 5-colored pill lightning would not be impossible. An expression of joy filled the area between Xiao Yan's brows. The surprise that this great single soul skill gave him far exceeded what he had expected. At this moment, he regretted not having practiced it earlier. Otherwise, his spiritual strength would have stepped into the intermediate soul state level. Of course, this regret merely lasted for a flash before it disappeared. It was difficult to achieve everything. During this period of time, he might have neglected the training of spiritual strength, but his improvement in terms of Do-Chi was quite pleasing. Within a short 2 years, he had rose from the peak of the Dozone class to his current 5-star Dozan status. This speed could make up for all losses. Xiao Yan only smiled in satisfaction after having firmly remembered all of the information within the great single soul skill. He returned it to his storage ring and once again focused his mind on the training method. This continued for a couple of hours before he opened his eyes in a refreshed manner. A miraculous effect beyond my expectations. Xiao Yan praised with his mouth. He mused for a moment before clenching his hand. A bright red scroll once again appeared. Following the appearance of this scroll, a wave of rich fire energy billowed out. This bright red scroll was the scroll that Xiao Yan had snatched from the Dosheng remains back then. However, it had been left in cold storage by Xiao Yan after he had obtained it. After all, everything was not worth mentioning when compared to the great heaven creation palm, but he had just remembered it. This thing was ultimately an object belonging to a Dosheng and would not be lousy. There was nothing bad in having more techniques in one's hands. Earth Resolve Flame, DI Class High-Grade Do Skill. It is unleashed through a strange method. One's Do-Chi needs to be inserted into the land to create an extremely hot gas stream. The stream of gas will then shoot out of the ground under the opponent's feet in an unexpected manner. The attack will not reveal any sound nor presence as it delivers a fatal blow to the other party. This Do skill possesses some requirements in terms of the terrain. The closer one is to a volcanic area, the greater its strength. Xiao Yang swiftly absorbed the information within the bright red scroll into his mind. His heart was a little interested. This Earth Resolve Flame was not like other Do skills that required large-scale build-ups. Its silence and lack of aura could catch others off guard. The terrain requirement did not impede Xiao Yang. He was a human volcano with 4 types of heavenly flames. If the heavenly flame's strength was poured into the gas stream, the might of this Do skill would become even more powerful. It is indeed worthy of being a part of the collection of an elite Dosheng. It is far from ordinary. Xiao Yang softly praised. He was aware that he had added another task, to successfully learn this so-called Earth Resolve Flame. 7 days swiftly passed. During these 7 days, Xiao Yang immersed himself in training. He practiced the great single soul skill and the Earth Resolve Flame during this time. He forgot about food and sleep, but was gaining a deeper understanding of these 2 skills. When this bitter training continued to its 8th day, a familiar aura finally appeared within his senses. That aura belonged to the little fairy doctor? She has actually become this strong, huh? Even with Xiao Yang's temperament, he involuntarily inhaled a gentle breath of air when he sensed the degree of strength in this aura. This video will end here.